But I want to, of course, thank everybody for joining us. These master classes, a lot of people don't know, but Mike was the reason for the master class. He comes in and he goes, I have a big problem. He goes, I want to be a part of what you're doing, but I'm in where are you, Philippines? Your
I was.
business?
Yeah, I was. So I lived there 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, and so he's like, how do we integrate what you're doing and what we're doing, and then how do I attend and get to know everybody and be a part of this thing if I'm not here? And I said, well, we have the power of the internet and the technology available. Let's build something that we can have everybody from wherever they are, and that's what we did. And so everyone that becomes a member can teach a class on the platform, and it live streams on the platform, and you have an archive of it and you can take it. But at the same time, you're getting to see the same names over and over, and you're getting to know people. And that's the whole point, is if everyone is connecting and getting to know each other, we're all learning from each other. That's how we grow and we become better business people, and continue to build that quote unquote sphere of influence, as they say. So today, what I really want to do is learn about systems. We all have systems in our businesses. There's always stuff out there that we don't know about. Uh, Mike Amico is one of these guys that has integrated systems into his daily, and he teaches small and large organizations on how to implement this and how to take advantage. I remember he was at one of the networking events, and he was talking about, you've got all these different apps running on your phone. I can have them all working together in one app or something. I don't know. This is where he comes in, and he just does this thing. And then I will also make a note that he looks oddly like Jeff Bezos, which maybe it is Bezos and we just
I'll
don't
check the
know.
bank account later. I'll make sure. I'll check. Yeah,
All right,
funny.
but without further ado, the floor is yours, brother.
Well, thank you, Quinn. I appreciate it. And pleasure to meet everybody here today. I see a lot of familiar faces, so it's very nice to get the opportunity to do this. I've learned that I actually think ahead than other people in the world of technology. And so as I've gone through this technology career, I realized I could give back and help people, get more efficient. And more efficiency usually leads to operational efficiencies and revenue growth faster, scalable. So that's what we're here to talk about a little bit today. And we're going to just speak about that for a few. I'll share with you some of the industries we work with, and maybe that's relevant to you. I heard some certain ones we already work with. And then point out some areas where you want to investigate your business to see if you can streamline them and stop spending money. And then we'll show some examples, or I'll talk about some examples and open the floor up for Q&A. Sound good? Excellent. Okay, cool. So just a little bit about us is that my background is building. I was in sales for a long time with Oracle and Salesforce. It was when we were very small businesses. We grew, and I was responsible for opening the offices around the world for them, and basically building growing call centers and building operational systems. So all that means is we had to figure out how to do it with really not a lot of money, believe it or not, and then how we had to scale and close deals and grow. Fast forward to going off on my own and building an app on the Salesforce platform for the retail space. This was before COVID, where no one even knew what bookings, an appointment or a calendar thing was. So we built a booking system, and that booking system connected your e-commerce world with your point of sale world. And that allowed retailers to kind of bring those two spaces together. It was a very good user experience from the employees, but it was also a very good customer experience for them to interact with that business. And then there was a lot of intrinsic value to that, which was inventory optimization, cleaner sets of books, the better experience when it was personalized with the client. So we would the customer would be able to talk specifically to their clients. I mean, those were all the things that came with all these connected systems together. So as that platform went out in the adventure sports space, we grew it, and I'm in our office right here in Sacramento today. It's on Cottage Way and Watt. So if you recognize that road behind us, that's Cottage Way, and Watts over here where the ambulances go all day long. So we're right next to the hospital there. So we had grown that business in the adventure sports space, and then I sold that off. Once we did that, we repivoted. We had a lot of clients in the healthcare space from our parent company, and as we grew out, we decided that we were going to focus on some industries because they're actually underlying very similar. So retail, manufacturing, higher education, and healthcare. They may call their clients different names. They may call them patients, customers, clients, but overall, that connectivity that they have to serve that patient or client all stems off the same fundamental systems. So when we look at this today, we would look at it in twofold. And how we would work with customers and how we would work with folks like yourselves, and we'd sit down and say, are you focused on operational efficiencies right now? Do you have a lot of redundant things that are happening, processes, procedures, systems? Or are you focused solely on revenue and you don't care about the operational efficiencies? You're going to throw money at revenue and go as fast as you can. And then you'll come back and fix the broken stuff. So what we'll do is we can kind of unpack that. And we start with I would call plumbing. So if we look at just the plumbing of a business and the retail side of things, and I'll use some examples, and this scales from even mom and pops up to some of the places we work at have 10 15 stores that they're working with. They have 10 or 15 retail locations, but it also works when you start at the very foundation. So as you grow, you can grow up without buying new software and whatnot. So if we look at the plumbing and we have to figure out what platform we would try to standardize on, there's lots of different platforms that people want: Square, Toast, Lightspeed, Shopify, and there's different opinions on which one of those you'd want to purchase. When you make a foundational decision on the plumbing, you then have to think 3 to 4 years ahead of time and say, what am I going to connect to the systems? How much does that cost? How efficient is that? And do I get a better squeeze on this platform than this platform? And those are some of the things that we would help people decide based on their industry or their vertical. Today, when you start that process and you talk about growing, there's two schools of thought. You grow really fast and you need to scale. And those are two separate things. So if you grow really fast, you're getting revenue in the door, but you may be bleeding it just as fast because you don't have the systems and the plumbing in place. If you put it in place, then you can scale properly. As you grow, you're investing in yourself and growing. So from a product perspective, I think this would be helpful, Quinn, to help explain what we do for people. We would go in and we consult with them and have an agnostic approach where we look at what systems are running and how we can advise them. We don't really care which ones you choose. We try to advise you on which ones to choose, and you choose, and then we help you. And then we would look at your data and we look at your flow of that data through the system. So a lot of times, believe it or not, it's easier to put a human to clean the data and connect to systems than it is to pay for the systems to connect. It's maybe cheaper to get an offshore resource to put a human in place before connecting multiple systems. However, there are some fundamentals that I would say are a necessity when we're talking plumbing. We really want our e-commerce world to talk to our back office system as fast as possible, because that's where you see immediate automation and efficiencies. So for example, on that would be an e-commerce system where your orders and bookings are coming in, and then they're getting into your financial or ERP system. Well, how would that happen? Sometimes you connect QuickBooks to Shopify, or you connect Xero to a point of sale system, and there's an integration cost for that. Well, maybe sometimes it's better to put a offshore resource on that, where an hour a day they spend integrating, or they're the integration for you. And then the other 4 hours a day, they're doing other tasks and things for you. So it's not always, we're just going to throw software at it and make it all work. We have to schedule and we have to look down the road and see what's the better thing for the business. So we'll come into a company, we'll help them clean their data, and we'll get them in the system properly. So there's not 5 Mickey Mouses when they go to a trade show and they capture names and leads and things like that. And then that gives them a better experience. When that customer interacts with their brand, they know that Mike Amico is the same Mike Amico that was on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Instagram and was in our store last week and was online buying something from us. So that way you now can apply AI and automation to that layer. So once you have clean plumbing and clean data, then the systems are going back and forth. You can then start to use the AI for automation and scale. So that's a ton of information right there. I'm going to take a pause, Quinn, and just let anybody dissect that or digest that, I should say, and then we can kind of go from there with some examples.
This has been actually, I'm sitting here texting Frank right now going, oh my God, like my mind is blowing up right now. Like, I think the biggest thing was that like growth and scaling are two completely different things, where there's this misconception that they're the same thing. And we confuse that. Look at Jim over there shaking his head. No. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing this. Wow.
Yeah. So, Jim, I think I heard that you were a coach, right? Or executive coach, whatnot.
Yeah, more of a small business entrepreneur startup coach,
Okay. If I can,
focusing on business development and then, of course, team efficiency and systems, which is
awesome.
exactly what you're talking about.
Awesome. Okay. So if I can pick on you for a second, for example, we have some coaches in our ecosystem that we work with. We've designed and built our own platform on Google. So instead of using WordPress, for example, where you need a million plugins, we would use our own Google platform, which is already connected to everything Google related. Sorry, the phone's ringing. And so we have a coach, for example, and she goes out and does a lot of public speaking, and now she sells a book, and now she has webinars and she has events and all those things. It's like 10 different systems, right? That she would have to have. She'd have a Shopify page, you'd have an inventory, she needs an event booking tool. I mean, that's like 10 things she needs to use right there. So we would say, okay, instead of doing that, you can use our platform, which is built on the ground up from Google. It has YouTube plugged in. It has Google Workspace plugged in. It has your calendar plugged in, so you can get rid of Calendly. It has a meeting tool built in, so you can get rid of Zoom and the other 10 things you're using. And then, it has an inventory system built in with no merchant processing or with merchant processing. Depends on what you want to do. Here you go. There's one platform, knock yourself out. So that's an example, like someone in your world, Jim, that we would work with. On top of that, we then layer in the go-to-market piece where we're like, okay, you got your foundation set up. Now, how are you going to get your name out there, your branding out there, and scale and grow? We put someone from our team on there, out of our office in the Philippines, most likely, and then they take that and run with it. So we'll strategize with myself and Elizabeth, and we'll put a plan in place for them, and then we put the gas into the machine and let it go. And so now she gets AI training built in, where we're training the LLMs to pull up her name when she's on a public event running around the country. And then we also tweak out the SEO and the GEO and all that stuff as well. So just to kind of make it personal for you, Jim, that's something that like we would work with you on, for example, if that's helpful. So I'll give you a couple examples. So this is a good jumping off point. So for example, there's a dance studio that we work with in the Midwest, not a big store, had 2 locations and are looking to get are looking basically take over from their competitors. And we signed an agreement with them. We don't share any of their information. And then we start looking at everything that their competitors doing, and we look at what they're doing, and we look at the systems they're on. And I'm like, okay, well, for starters, we can connect your e-commerce and your point of sale. Second is you have 5,000 products in there, and only about 300 of them have pictures and the proper description. Let's fix that. Okay, cool. Now let's take control of your social media, your social media branding. Okay, cool. We got that done. And oh, by the way, don't you do custom consultation for people to come into your dance studio? Yes, we do. Well, what's your schedule for that? Oh, it's just all over the board. It's on a piece of paper. It's on spreadsheets. And okay, well, let's look at putting that all in one place. So amazing, very quickly, they have scheduled days where they do custom fitting for these people that come into the dance studio to get leotards and shoes and things like that. Amazing that their schedule now is more profitable. They don't have people running around like crazy people trying to fit the customer schedule. The customers are actually adapting to their schedule and going when they have the time to do the custom fitting. So there goes their margin, there goes their increase. And oh, by the way, a better experience for both sides of the coin, because the people in the company are not going crazy, and the people that are coming there are happy that they're coming when they want. So those are examples of just looking at that go-to-market with proper microscope on how they're running the business, and where we can make them more efficient. So that's just a very small store, but now they're able to capture with geotagging around their store because they have proper data. When someone drives by the store, they get a ping on their phone and say, oh, you drove by our store today. We got a 10% off discount. You should come on in. Those things we're tracking right now to see how they're doing there. That's pretty new for them. And they're using the loyalty database that's connected to all those systems to basically build out a following around the people signing up for their classes and buying their products. So now they have a very intimate relationship with those people that are coming for the classes. So that's an example of a very small one, but using tech that wasn't that expensive to make that happen. In the healthcare space, we have a very large dermatology office that has multiple store locations. They have a point of sale system that did not talk to their e-commerce system or their calendar scheduling booking system. And they had no way to track the orders between both. So they were spending a lot of money on orders on the e-commerce and orders on the point of sale, and trying to make those two systems, trying to reconcile that basically before they got it over to the bookkeeper and into QuickBooks or Xero. I can't remember which one it was, and then off from there. So with those folks, we've had an integration. We actually used a piece of software there to make those two systems talk to each other. And then they had their own consultants, not us, their own consultants put all the data properly in the system and clean it up with some of our help there. But now that the data was syncing seamlessly between the e-commerce and the point of sale system, they saw really, really large increases in efficiencies to the numbers that were like, double digit more efficient. And I don't remember off the top of my head right now what they are, but they were really efficient in terms of spending time duplicating entries and things like that. So that was in the healthcare space. Now the next iteration with those people, we're actually going to turn on a loyalty program, which is called a digital wallet. And that digital card sits in a digital wallet that's attached to that point of sale system. So let me give you an example. If you're flying Southwest, you go and you hit your calendar and it says you want this in your digital wallet. Yeah, drops it into your digital wallet on your phone. So now you have when your flight's going to take off, what's the flight status, where your bags are and all that. We build those digital wallets for folks utilizing the same system that they have. And it's not an app. We don't have to build anything new. It comes with your phone already. So we just build a branded card for each of folks such as yourself, a retail store. It would look like your brand. And then it goes into your client's phone. So now when the client drives past your store, they get an alert. Great, cool. You get an email system that's clean, and you're building your loyalty program so you can build repeat clients. And for folks such as like an HVAC system, HVAC systems usually one and done, right? They come out, they fix your system, and they're done. But they would really like a subscription model. So if we build a digital wallet for them and a digital card for their digital wallet, now everybody that did that one and done cleaning, they say, hey, for $20 a month, you get bumped up to our VIP list, and you just put this little VIP digital wallet into your phone, and now you're on our subscription program, and anytime you call us, you're bumped to the top of the list as a VIP. Thanks. So that's an example. In the HVAC system was traditionally just a once done. Now it became a subscription repeating model for them, utilizing what they already owned without building a $300,000 app or anything like that. Yes, Quinn.
No, that is so valuable, and I'm looking at that for Amy, for the cleaning business. Essentially, every single time um, she drives by one of her clients, I wonder if there's a way where they get a notification that says Amy is in your area. She can come clean today, or
I wonder if we
one
could
of those.
reverse that. Yeah, I'd have to think about that if we could reverse that. Yeah. You know, a very famous one, just so you know, is with the Domino's pizza and the Little Caesars. Domino's has a very, very good app. So does McDonald's. Very sticky. It brings you back over and over and over again to their platform. Domino's basically circled every single Little Caesar store on the planet and said every time someone drives past a Little Caesars, make sure they get a text or a message from Domino's saying that they got a $5 off pizza right down the street. Yeah, they did. They did. And they blew it out. They blew the doors out on that campaign. But that's an example of like you would go and literally circle all your competitors, and you know when someone drives by them, they'd get a coupon for your.
I got a question then. What about because I've got a few company cars. What if they drove by my car? Because I
I
don't have.
bet you we could circle the car. I would have to check with the nerds, my guys, or whatever
Yeah.
on that. But yeah, affectionately.
I have an office location, but I'm not, getting, that's not for foot traffic.
Right. Right. Not retail, like coming over and buying a pizza. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have a dedicated phone or Android device with an IP address for that.
I don't know.
They would just live in the car. I have dash cams now that actually have like a Wi-Fi kind of thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so this is innovative thinking. I love this stuff. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to open up Q&A with everybody. I'm sorry, Mike. I'll have you get back, but I want to open up Q&A with everybody now as well.
Perfect. One of the things, I just have a couple notes here on my left screen. So some of the things to think about as you're hearing this information, maybe new, maybe redundant. If it's new and exciting, that's cool. Kind of ask yourself a couple questions, like where am I using spreadsheets? Okay, where do I have maybe a Gmail address that I can rebrand it as my company and use Google Workspace to solve all that? Because Google Workspace, it literally brings 90% of this stuff together for small businesses anymore. It's like a no-brainer. Where do I feel like I'm paying for overlapping tools? As an example, Calendly, Zoom, G Drive, Teams, all of that can be done in one platform today. It's like right now 5 different platforms, but that's another example. And then you just connect that one platform to whatever you're running for your POS or e-com, and you're off to the races. So think about some of those things that may help you. And so you're not what we call swivel chairing. You're not doing this between 10 different apps all day long. Oh, I got to go to QuickBooks. Oh, now I got to go to my CRM system. Oh, now I got to go to e-commerce system. You don't have to do that. And there's some other recommendations that we have that would pull in leads. Use certain tools and to gather those leads for you, dump them all into one system so you're not going again to 12. We help with that too. It just depends. Some people need leads, some people need efficiency. We kind of unpack that depending on what they need. So I'll open the floor to anybody that's got any questions. I'm happy to answer anything top of mind.
Hey, Mike. Hey, great content, man. Wealth of knowledge, by the way. Thank you so much. I have a question. So I currently have like you mentioned, a spreadsheet for my, CRM, and that's kind of, how I keep track of basically like a tracker, right? For leads, for like follow-ups, things like that. I haven't used any like new CRMs that are out there. I mean, there's a ton, right? Monday.com is a big one. There's a whole lot. I mean, you work with Salesforce. Like, what do you recommend for a super like beginner starting off, for a good CRM that's really good for follow-ups?
That's a great question, actually. It's perfect timing. Okay. Yes, I'm biased. I would say Salesforce is great, but we're not going to do that maybe for one person. We run it for our whole company. That's because we can tweak it and build it really fast and automate a whole bunch of stuff. That being said, you can get into Salesforce for 99 bucks a month, and you could actually have a lot of functionality there that people are not aware of. Okay. The second, though, is I'll take that a step back and say, you don't even want to enter the data into a CRM anymore. That's like old school, and especially with AI. Now, you want the data to be enriched every single day automatically. And what I mean by that is if you look at our website and you go to our products and whatever, and you find it, there's a tool called Apollo. Apollo has integrated everything into one place for lead generation and enrichment. So we typically would have bought lists of leads and then put them in a CRM and then had somebody follow and track it and all that stuff. Not anymore. I have 5 guys that all day long basically go through all the leads that are coming in from Apollo, and they go into our CRM flow. And Apollo is a CRM, and it enriches the data in real time. Let me give an example. On our website right now, if you go to our website, I will know that you're on my website, and I'll know that Vikram is there right now, and that will go into Apollo, and it'll go into a drip marketing campaign, which will go into a sequence. It'll say, hey, Vikram, I saw you on the site today and you checked out the Salesforce link. Anything you need? Boom, that will go out to you tonight. Then what happens is a rep from my team will call you like within the next 24, 48, 72 hours and say, hey, Vikram, you need anything? Just check in. Okay, great. And then you go into a drip sequence. Okay. And that sequence would go out which every 5 days, 10 days. Hey, did you need anything? Just checking up. None of that we've entered. I haven't entered any of that data. Okay. Like it's all been brought to me from AI. Okay. So then the next thing after that is now, how do we get that guy scheduled? How do we get Vikram scheduled? Because you go, yeah, dude, I'm interested. Let's have, you can tell me more. So what happens then is using Google Workspace, which is connected on every single level, calendar, content, email, a drive, you now are brought into my Google bookings page. Either you book it on your own, which falls into when I have time to talk to you, or you basically speak to my agent and he does it with you on the phone live. And hey, Mike's open Tuesday and Thursday. So the days of CRM, HubSpot, Monday.com, all those goes back to my first question of like, what platform are you comfortable using and which one will scale and grow with you before you have to make a million plugins to that thing and spend a bunch of money. So I'm a big advocate for Apollo right now because they've eliminated a lot of stuff and they've automated so many things. It includes Claude, it includes Perplexity, and it includes ChatGPT. 99 bucks a month. That thing includes everything now. It's like mind blowing. So that's my long-winded answer, Vikram, for what I would do if I was looking for a CRM right now.
It's a great answer, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate that. I am using Claude Cowork. So you mentioned that it's already integrated into Apollo. That's even cool.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
crazy.
huge.
So it
Yeah.
is. It's totally nuts. So the next thing, if we're I'll be quiet. Sorry. Anything else on that? Any other questions on that? Blossom's smiling at me. She's smiling over there. I hope she's taking notes.
Anybody have any other questions? So
what's your ideal customer size, Mike?
So Brian, we range in revenue. We were large, so we were at higher education, bigger company, manufacturing, things like that. It's a sliding scale. I hate to give you a specific answer, but I'd say under $100 million and less, and even under $10 million is like doable. So like I said, the dance studio, they're a couple $1,000,000, right? Like nothing, like very, very small. Our guys in Florida, they're doing hundreds of millions of dollars selling Rolex watches and Omegas and things like that, shipping tons and tons of product every single day. And we have everything in between. We have restaurants. We just picked up 9 retail stores on the East Coast. We have individual coaches out there. They're literally individual coaches selling books and booking events, and those are not hundreds of millions. So it's sliding scale, to be honest with you.
Can you do me a solid and talk to me about, or tell everyone about the different services that you provide that are available on Connectrix's website, and then also give everyone your contact information as well, so everybody has it. And then, of course, if you guys you do miss it or you're watching an archive, everything's available at Awepra, our platform, and you can go to the business directory and everything is there.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. So the site basically is broken down into two places. There's solutions and products. The solutions are the technical stuff that we sell, Google, Salesforce, Apollo, those are the products. The solutions are under there. The inside the products, we break it down into services. So if you think of what a company needs to go to market, like literally we just brought in a new customer from Australia this week, and they're going after a very specific niche. They need everything from, I need a logo created, to a team that start making sales calls, to an operating system like Apollo to run this whole thing, and a CRM. So that entire go-to-market we can handle for somebody, like that entire piece. If we break it down into chunks and we're looking at the website, we can say, oh, your e-commerce package, what does that mean? That means we'll load all your products, we'll brand it all properly, we'll get it in there with sequences and automated drip marketing campaigns. And that, you're starting at like $1,500. You're not going to break the bank, but you're like, great, I'm going to start with that. And we're going to go get some leads, and we're going to get our tools up and running, and we're going to get some great advice on what we should do down the road as we grow. And that's a very specific, definable product that we could put into place for somebody. Another one would be like our Accelerate package. That's what these gentlemen are doing in Australia, which is branding, logos, go-to-market, social media, strategy on social media. There's a whole bunch to do there. Training the LLM machines so they pull your brand up before everybody else. The SEO, and then all the plumbing underneath it, behind it. And so that entire piece, we take care of that as well. And that's like $5,000 for a project like that. That has multiple.
But it's still affordable.
Yes, I mean, when you think about it, like one sale probably in anybody's world, maybe more than one, but it's not that much, to be honest. Like the return is very fast. If we don't have the return in a quarter, we've got a problem. Yeah.
I think the other side of it though is that we still don't know what we don't know, and sometimes it's best to just maybe give you a ring and have a little heart to heart and see where you could help streamline and make the business a little bit more efficient. And you were talking to me about trading that, how valuable is your time? What's your time costing you? And so if we can save money just by not having to sit in the chair during that time, that allows us to get out there and meet more people and grow. And then at the same time, then what do we do after we meet those people? You've got the systems in place to do all that onboarding.
Exactly. And we are not biased. I'll be honest. We are completely agnostic on the software. We can't know everything. Like, do I know every single detail about Monday.com? No, I do not. Do I ever know every single detail about Pipedrive or Pipeline? Kind of, I know some of it, but not enough. But I know enough to be dangerous in certain areas. We will do a semi-deep dive into some of that based on what you're looking for, and come back and say, hey, look, here's our recommendation. For what it's worth, you may want to consider this. And honestly, Quinn, for everybody on the call, I would gladly do a health assessment for them. And if you move forward, then I would throw that into the credit of the products if you bought something for us. For everybody on this call today, like I just thought of that. So let's do that. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. Does anybody else have any other questions before we start to wrap up?
Hopefully it was valuable. Hopefully
it's okay. It looks like everyone's good, man. So if you want to give everyone your contact information, website address, all of that, spell it all out. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the name of the company is Connectrix, KONNECTRYX. And the phone number is 415-636-7811. And we are here in Sacramento. We have some folks in Chicago. We have our team in APAC, and we have some people up in Napa that have worked with me for a very long time. So we're kind of spread out throughout the U.S. a little bit.
And again, I want to thank everybody for being here. If you're already a member, you can just get in contact with me and we'll get you scheduled to host your own masterclass. We all have something to share with the world. And it's surprising what we don't know. It's incredible. Every single time we do something like this, every time I sit down with somebody, get them on the radio show, whatever, It's just amazing how much information is out there that we just don't know. It's incredible. So I want to thank everybody. Mike, of course, hang out, Mike, if you want to hang out once everyone is gone, so you and I could brief. And yeah, wonderful. Thank you guys so much. And then Brian, if you want to figure out what your date is for your masterclass, let me know. And then Jim as well. We want to make sure that you stay with us with the membership. So I'll have Frank reach out to you and get you all set up with that. Other than that, here we are, man. It's amazing. I love what we're doing. And if you guys haven't already, go check out Blossom's space, Arden Creek Laser and Aesthetics. We're setting up some events there to have everyone do some meet and greets and stuff as well. So
Very nice.
Awesome.
Quinn.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Michael.
Quinn. Thanks,
Thanks,
Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye. All
Thank
right.
you.